Welcome to the Postgame Podcast. No Jerry Recco today. He'll be back Friday when we don't do the Postgame Podcasts. But until then, we've got Eddie Scozzare. Good morning, Eddie.
Hello, podcast people
Ye-
and YouTube person.
Yeah, the YouTube person. Good morning. Shout out. I have a dog situation, Eddie, and you're someone who has had dogs,
Yes.
multiple dogs.
Yes.
Would you say you've always had multiple dogs?
Well, no, I had one dog growing up as a kid, Charlie.
That was the thing. Growing up, people had one dog.
Yes.
Like I didn't have friends that had multiple dogs.
No. But then when we first got married, we had cats who were our first pets because the wife was working not at home, and cats are easier in that regard. If you're
Yeah,
gonna be
they are.
out of the house. So once the wife started working from home and we were thinking about a dog, we decided to get involved with the Seeing Eye because I wanted a larger breed dog. And this was a way, since my wife was going to be the primary caretaker, to see if she can handle a larger breed dog without making a lifetime commitment to a dog. And once she proved that, that was okay with her, the larger breed dog, and we had an opportunity to adopt one of our Seeing Eye pups that came back to us after being a breeder. Then we got our first dog, but at that time we still had a multiple dog household because we were still raising for the Seeing Eye. And eventually we got to 3 Seeing Eye dogs that came back to us, and then we dropped out of the program because I would never say no to a pup I raised if they offered it back. But 3 dogs, large size dogs in a house of our size is sort of pushing the levels of sanity.
Mm-hmm.
But since 2000 and I want to say 16, we've had 3 dogs in the house.
But you realize that's the level of
Yeah.
sanity, and then
And that's-
after that, it gets a little nuts.
Yeah, and that would, because when we watch my sister's dogs or my sister-in-law's dog, we'll have like 5 in the house, and that's okay for a couple of days, but it's intense.
What a scene that must be.
Yeah, especially at mealtime. Yeah, that's quite a scene.
Hmm.
So, yeah, but I think I'll have at least 2, probably 3, for as long as I can still walk them.
The rest of your life.
Well, I mean, again, I have to be able to care for the dogs.
Oh, that's true.
So, as long as I'm healthy enough to walk the dogs.
Okay, fair enough.
Mm-hmm.
So my dog just started licking her leg
Okay.
to the point where she's licked it into a couple of sores.
Mm-hmm.
Why does a dog do that?
It could be an allergy situation.
Yeah, see, I Googled this,
Mm-hmm.
and I will tell you, I have noticed recently, I took note that when I've been taking the dog out on walks, sometimes she sneezes like
Mhm.
many times. She
Mhm.
doesn't sneeze in the house, but sometimes on a walk, multiple sneezes. So could that be allergies in the outdoor stuff?
Yeah, it could be. Although the licking thing, I know when dogs lick their feet, especially, it's can be a sign of an allergy. Now, because 2 of our dogs have that, where they'll be licking their feet and stuff. So what we give them is the CVS brand of Benadryl.
Yeah.
Because it's not pink, it doesn't have the dye, it's white. So we give them, and this would be a dose for your dog as well, 2 Benadryls in each meal. And that helps. But we also give them a prescription drug called Apoquel, which is like for canine allergies. And we give that once a day. And that seems to help a lot. So you could try a CVS over-the-counter Benadryl situation.
It's a capsule or it's a pill?
Little tiny
Caplet.
caplets.
But they're white. They're not
Yes,
colored.
correct.
pink.
And our dogs just eat them with the food. I don't know if your dog is picky like that.
She is picky like that. I'd have to wrap it in like turkey or something.
Or pill pockets.
Yeah.
You familiar with those?
Yeah. Yeah, she'll eat. I'll like wrap it in a little piece of turkey or
Mhm.
something. Hot dog. She'll eat. But what do I do about the current situation where she now has sores that she's still licking?
Well, yeah, you don't want an open sore situation. You could put like Neosporin on it to help If it's an open sore, I would actually recommend that. But you don't want them licking that off, so
Right.
then you have to go cone of shame, which a
Yeah,
lot
it
of
would feel
dogs
so
hate.
bad putting a cone on the
Yeah, I
dog.
know.
Maybe I wrap it in some.
You could put the Neosporin or bacitracin on it, and then just wrap it if you have something to wrap. When you give blood, they put that little
Yeah,
sort of not really sticky, but that would help. But she could just peel that off,
right, or
probably.
lick right through it,
Yeah,
like soak it up. I was
yeah.
looking on Amazon. They do have like looks like a brace for the dog
Mm,
that would cover that area and definitely
mm,
is not lickable
okay.
through. I also had some spray. She must have done this once before because I have some spray that's like for heat spots,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess that's what that
Yes,
is.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but this Benadryl might be interesting.
Yes, yeah, and
And it makes them
it's
sleepy too, right?
a little bit. Not if your dog is already like for our Raymond, who is high strung because he's a terrier, um, it maybe knocks him down a tiny bit, and he also gets motion sickness in the cars, so we give him Dramamine. That will take the edge off a little more than the allergy meds, but
But if you took a Benadryl, I think it would knock you out.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem to affect them. That sleepy part doesn't.
Really?
I've not experienced like dogs acting like that sleepy. Now, there's a painkiller which one of our dogs gets really sluggish from, gabapentin.
Oh, yeah.
And our little quail, I mean, she's had the stroke, and so she's got some motor issues anyway. Oh my god. The vet gave her some of that once, and it was like she could barely walk, and she was so out of it. So we give her a different painkiller now,
Yeah.
Rimonil.
Yeah, my dog had that gabapentin and then was also on, the prednisone at the same time.
Mhm,
That's when she was peeing all over the house, the prednisone.
mhm.
I
Yeah,
had to
makes
get
them
her off that.
thirsty,
That was a
yeah,
disaster.
yeah, but the GABA also can make them constipated. It's a disaster.
Yeah. It's weird. I should just put the cone on the dog.
Yeah,
Put the medicine on. That way, if you don't bandage it and you put the medicine on, it's nice and airy.
right.
It'll probably heal better.
Yes.
But I feel so bad putting a cone on my
Well, you
dog.
could put the cone on, like, you put the stuff on and then just put the cone on for a little bit, like, for, an hour and a half to let it sort of soak in, and then take the cone off.
Then she'll go right to the lick, I think.
Probably, but or you could do that brace you were talking about.
Yeah. I also saw they have different kinds of cones now. They don't just have that gigantic clear cone.
They have the soft
Yeah,
cones.
they have soft ones. They have ones that look like a donut that
Mhm.
just as if your dog was going to go on a nice long flight and was
Right,
going to get some
correct.
sleep. Like a donut around that would stop them from
Yes,
licking.
and that would be probably more acceptable. Either the soft one or, like you said, the donut would be more tolerable than
Yeah,
the gigantic plastic cone of shame.
yeah. I had asked this question on the Greyhound group that I'm on Facebook. Somebody just said just put pajamas on the dog. Because people
Yeah,
put pajamas on their dogs.
sure,
It would definitely block, but she will lick through
correct.
the
And then she'd
pajamas.
have a wet pajama.
Yeah.
Not ideal.
Yeah, this happened the other night. I don't know, sometimes, like, my dog will also just lick her bed
Mhm.
for sometimes I'm trying to go to sleep and you just hear,
Yeah, yeah.
like, "What are you?"
Yeah,
And then she
yeah.
lays her head on the
I
licked
know.
bed part.
You would think they wouldn't want that, but
Not ideal.
no. And some dogs, they almost get like, it's like they get obsessed with it, or it'll be like 20 minutes of this licking,
Yeah.
and you have to just like, I'll tell my like, hey, and it kind of works. It'll interrupt them, whatever, break the
Yeah.
obsession in their brain, and then yeah, but they have little quirks. These dogs.
Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah.
Hmm. Um, I did go and finally get my glasses. They
Okay.
haven't come in yet, but I didn't go to yours place
Okay.
just because it was further for me. I was gonna try there was a Lenscrafter at the Monmouth Mall near
Mhm.
me, and I had been avoiding Lenscrafters for some
Mhm.
reason. I just thought, "Eh, that's a chain
Mhm.
place, and it's probably some kids working there that don't wanna work there, and blah, blah." Boy, I was so wrong. I went into that Lenscrafter at the Monmouth Mall. The 2 dudes that were working in there are so into being eyeglass guys.
Mm.
So into it.
And would you say 35, younger, older?
Older than 35 for sure. I would say, in their 40s,
Mm.
but, like, into it. I love when I find somebody who's into their job,
Yes.
especially in a retail situation, because
Mhm.
you just don't I don't know why I don't think I think you don't think that people are gonna be into their things, but when someone is into this guy knew everything about my iMed insurance. He was like an expert on the iMed insurance. I mean, he was. And then the guy helping him was into it as well. It
Right,
was
and I like when
unbelievable.
they have good suggestions, and when you look in the mirror, you realize they're right, like, with the shape of your
Yes.
face and this and that. Because I have no idea. Hey, I'd be wearing, like, goofy, huge glasses from the '70s.
Yeah. I didn't even know glasses came in different sizes. Like when
Yeah.
I would go to the other eyeglass store I go to, I'd try on. And then he's like, that's too big for your face. I go,
Mhm,
oh, I go, and he's like, you need to look for, I think I was a 54.
mhm.
I had no idea.
Who knew?
I was not looking at
Yeah, what is
sizes.
the 54, like, centimeters, like, eye to eye or
I
something
don't
like
know.
that?
That can't be that because that's such a large number and it's such a small face.
Centimeters?
Yeah, I
Millimeters?
don't
I
know.
don't know. It's gotta be
They were
something.
like, you know, 53, 54, 55, 56. So I was in the 53 or 54 phase, he told
Huh.
me.
But
Yes.
did he hold something up to your face to measure it?
No, he knew by eyeballing my
Huh,
head.
that's pretty
And
good
then when I tried other ones on, he's like, I know this is going to be big on you, but look at this one. And
for the style.
yeah, so I was so happy.
No, was the suggestion of our big boss Olive? Because I know he had
Well, he had told
suggested.
me he'd been there, but I was actually kind of running out of local eyeglass places.
Mhm.
And Lenscrafter, I was like, I'll go there last. I don't know. I don't know why I had a bad opinion of like,
Well, because it's a chain, and
because
you
it's a chain.
figure
Yes.
that the employees would not be as
Yeah.
incentivized or into it
Yeah.
at all. But so
He
you
was
never
into it.
know.
Yeah. No, and he's been there a long time. So I would
Mhm.
reckon if anyone's in that area, I would go there.
Yeah.
And then it made me Google how much does a Lenscrafter like store manager make?
Mhm.
Pretty good.
Better than us.
Well, I'll just throw out his number. Well,
Mhm.
what the number I saw online. I
Mhm.
Googled how much does a Lenscrafters store manager make in New Jersey? $91,000.
So better than me.
I thought it was pretty good,
Yeah, that's very
right?
livable.
You probably live very close to
Yeah.
home. You're closed on holidays,
Mhm.
closed at night, closed overnight, open at like 10 a.m. They open at 10 a.m.
Right. And maybe or maybe not a Sunday, probably open
They
Sunday.
open Sundays.
But if there's more than one, you can get, you work this weekend, I'll work this weekend.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
seem to be having a good old time for themselves in there.
Well, shout out to
Yeah,
Lenscrafters.
they're a good job by the Lenscrafters guys.
Mhm.
You get to meet people. You get to suggest a look.
Right. And then by them knowing their business, even though there's like thousands of choices, they narrowed it down for you, made it not overwhelming.
Right. I walked in there and I said, this is what I'm looking for in glasses. This is what I like the nose piece to look like. This is what I like the part near
Right.
the ear.
Because you want your nose to be comfortable, your ears to be comfortable.
Yeah. At
And
one
you
point, he
and
said to
this
me, those are lady glasses.
yeah, but that hey, the ones you were wearing currently are lady
No,
glasses.
no, no. The ones that I was in a
Oh.
section of the Lens Crafters, and he goes,
Oh, I
Now
see.
that section is the lady section." I
Yeah.
couldn't tell.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whatever. Phil Slims has them, so whatever.
Well, that's what was funny. Gina said to the guy, "Oh, Al has a friend who wears lady glasses." She
Mhm.
meant Phil Sims.
Yeah, that's right.
I didn't tell the man it was Phil
Of course
Sims.
not.
But yeah, I thought that was pretty good. Do you use AI at all? Do you think?
I don't. Well, okay. Does Alexa count?
No, I mean things like no, I don't think Alexa counts.
Do I use it to write for me?
Or to summarize stuff for you,
Well,
or to fix an email.
no, that I do not.
Because that's now it's built in our email
I know.
system now. It
I,
just kind of started.
yeah, I know, and I don't. I'm like, no, I don't want you to help me write. I can write, so I don't use that.
Yeah.
I guess if I Google something now, Google will have an AI synopsis of
Yeah.
everything, and I'll quickly glance at it, but then I'll go to whatever the first.
Yeah, wwhere they're probably
thing
getting
is.
most of it from, right?
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, because sometimes it's word for word
Yeah.
of a Wikipedia or whatever it is. So, I would say no. I'm not against it, but I don't think it's there yet. There are even with, like, Alexa, you ask her certain questions. If
Yeah.
you have to phrase it very specifically, there's not that they haven't made that jump yet, which I don't know, maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Because you don't have the what do you call it? The true AI. There's a name for it. I'm blanking on it right now. But uh, what is it? Something. Yeah, I forget the exact word.
Sentient AI?
Yeah, right.
Sentient?
Sentient
Sentient? Something
or
like that?
true artificial
Yeah.
intelligence or whatever it is. Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things now when we do podcasts, there's a transcript of the
Mm-hmm.
podcast in the podcast platform. What I wanted to do was to, like, let's say there's a 3-hour podcast. Could I grab that transcript and then copy and paste it into a thing and then say, "Summarize this"?
Mm-hmm.
Would that I wonder if that would work.
I bet you it would, or you might not even have to copy and paste if it you know can read the document on its own. And
Yeah, that's
that's
true, right.
and I forget when it was. Maybe it was a year ago when maybe a little more. I was asked to get 10 interrupted minutes of all the personalities on the show because I was responsible for our show uh, of just those people talking for 10 minutes. Didn't matter what, but they didn't want two voices. So sometimes there was editing involved, or sometimes I would just take commercial reads or Boomer Sports Minutes. I pulled a lot of stuff from your older podcasts where it was just you, well, with a guest, but it was
Mhm.
easier to take that out. And that's what it was for the,
Transcripts.
yes, for
Yeah.
whatever is reading it, listening to it to know the patterns of your voice, Jerry's voice, Gio's voice, Boomer's voice, and then to help it in the translation. And that's what that was for, that project.
Yeah, so it just got built into Gmail, which we use at work.
Mhm.
And can I tell you a story where I felt really stupid after so when I go to create an email now, um, it says, I thought it was saying, I swear to you, Polish. And I was like, why does this thing want to convert this to Polish? It meant polish.
Ah, can I polish and stuff? Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I was because I do it when I send the rundown of live reads. We schedule that
Mhm.
like in the afternoon before. So I thought it was like, is the way I'm writing this up, does it think I'm trying to speak Polish? Because I'm writing like I write shorthand with
Correct.
the
Right.
commercials. So I was like, this thing thinks I'm trying to speak Polish. But yesterday I was sending an email to our boss, Ryan Hurley, and I saw Polish and I said, let me click on this to see if it converts it to Polish. No, it was Polish. And it made the email, we're all very casual here. We work in a
Yes.
very casual
Correct.
environment. It made the email so businessy to Ryan that I
Yeah.
had to go back and unconvert it
Yeah.
because then it made it like, Dear Mr. Hurley, I've noted, like, it just made it very businesslike. I know we'll be using it more and more in the future. And Gene is very into AI stuff. I haven't found an application for it
Mhm.
in without forcing an application on it. Like, I think what you're saying too, it's like you haven't found a need
Right. I
to do
don't.
anything with
Because
it
I
yet.
don't, if I was someone who had to send out 300 emails a day, like some of our salespeople, if they're trying to solicit
Yeah.
business, I could definitely see myself doing that because the way I try to, especially if it's something a serious thing like you're pitching something, I would be so anal retentive about things, and so I might find myself just leaning on that just to, if I had to send out 300 emails to pitch something, I could see myself using that, but I don't really use that many, and I don't really compose that many emails. And at this point, I'm like, I don't want to do that because I think I can compose an email without
Right.
help.
Yeah. Yeah, the only thing I've been using it for here at work is when I write up as the show's going along, I'll write up what's going on that
Hmm.
hour for podcast descriptions, and then I'll make a shorter version of that for the full hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I also just like to see how it sums up
Yes.
the hour. Sometimes it's incorrect, and you got to go back and fix it. But yeah, there are ways like you can make the language more casual, more business,
Now, why is it
shorten it.
when it's incorrect? What is it? What's tripping it up? Is there a pattern to what is?
No, it's just weird. Like it might. I don't know. It's getting tripped up in like today I wrote up, I write like Willie Colon is in for Boomer, so it's Gio and Willie today. Then somewhere else I wrote CeeLo is in for Jerry. So like it introed it was like Willie and Gio are in for Boomer and CeeLo today. Like no, that's
Yeah.
not what it's doing.
Right.
It just sometimes gets confused.
Yeah, right. Because it's not human level.
Yeah, it's not
Intelligence,
human
yeah.
level, yeah. And that's where the kids that are using it in college and high school, they're so lazy. Not only are they letting AI write it, they're not even checking it.
Right. To see like those kinds of mistakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you there was one thing a couple of years ago, a student submitted something to Gina, and it had to do with whatever topic they were using. They were using the moon, the phases of the moon, some
Mhm.
sort of explanation. And in the middle of it, there was a sentence about Warren Moon, the football player.
Right. Yeah.
And Gina's like, "What is Warren Moon?" I go, "No, that's a football player." The AI got confused to
Right.
put Warren Moon in the middle
Yeah.
of this moon thing, and the kid didn't even look to check.
Yeah,
That's
that's really
lazy. You got to check AI's work if it's doing all this
Mhm.
stuff for you.
Mhm.
So I'm curious if we end up somehow using it more here.
Well,
Eventually.
is that with the thing that makes the pictures? The
Yeah, the
grok?
grok that's built into Twitter.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll sometimes use pictures because it knows who Boomer Esiason is.
Mhm.
It doesn't know who Geo is or me or you. It didn't know Willie Colon. So you got to be very famous, I
Right.
guess,
And
for it
also
to know.
that's something that not that like I don't know how much you are with Photoshop and all that
Yeah, not
cropping
good.
and so that is a perfect example of a great use for you. It does it instantly
Instantly.
and it's funny and we could use it to add to the show.
Right.
Uh and even I think somebody who does a lot of that kind of thing, like Kaplan, in the back there, maybe he would use it a lot because he could just be much more productive.
Yeah. Yeah. You at least give it a try right at first,
Right.
and then it can try to improve on what it comes up with first. So,
Hmm.
yeah. Yeah, I want to try that thing with it because there's some podcasts that I'm interested in that I don't want to listen to the whole thing. But I feel like if I could grab the transcript, highlight it, and then summarize it,
Hmm.
if that would be useful.
Right. And if it would be accurate.
Right. And if it would be accurate. That's the other problem.
Now you can get a line about Warren Moon in the middle of it.
Correct.
Wouldn't make any sense.
That would not make sense unless I was doing a piece on Warren Moon.
Now, when you said with you put in Willie to make a picture, but there was there's a musical artist.
There's a salsa musician
Mhm.
named Willie Colon who's, I guess, more famous worldwide than our former football player, Willie
many
Colon.
more pictures.
Yeah, many more pictures to choose from. I'm sure if I could, I thought of it too late in the show. And then I tried football player Willie Colon, but then it was making that guy a football player. It was
Right.
very confused.
Yeah, yeah. And now you've done stuff for Boomer and for Geo.
No, it doesn't know Geo. Doesn't know Jerry.
Then it probably is not going to know Jerry or you.
Yeah, no, doesn't know any of us. We tried you.
Right. Yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
I'm not even.
Yeah,
This is the least of me out there.
yeah. Like the only other one on the station, I bet it would know Tiki Barber. Right.
Oh, for sure.
So we could do Boomer and Tiki stuff, but that's really it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So far, I do think there's a way to, like, if I uploaded a picture of you to this thing
Right.
and said, "This is Eddie,"
Right.
and then I said, "Make Eddie a football player."
Right.
I think there's a way to do that. I haven't figured that out yet.
But would you then need a Grok account? You know
No,
what
I
mean?
think your Twitter account is your Grok account.
Oh, okay.
I
Oh,
believe.
it's part of Twitter?
Yeah, it's part of Twitter.
Oh, okay.
That one that I'm using is.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know what Grok comes from, or did I tell you that?
You did. It was some sort of.
It's a science fiction book from the 60s. A Stranger in a Strange Land.
And what was Grok in that?
Grok was like I grok, meaning to deeply understand something. I grok this, you know. And there are other uses for it in the novel, also the different, but that's the basic definition.
Yeah, that one's the only one I've really tried playing around with. I tried Gemini, which is the Google version.
Mm-hmm. Is that what comes up with the with our, like, to help us write emails?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Gemini. Yeah, so Gmail. If you Google something, that's the thing that comes up and summarizes
Mm-hmm.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it so far, and I'm sure we'll get more used to it. I'm curious if anyone's listening that actually really sees another way to use AI,
Right.
like in what we do
Mm-hmm.
or what they do, like how
Yeah.
they're using it, integrating it.
Feels
W-
like we're getting closer to the singularity.
Yeah, we'll be retired by then,
Well,
unless
yeah.
it goes really fast.
Well, and also depending on what it does when it wakes up.
Yeah, we don't want it waking up.
Well, I think it's going to happen. I think people can't help themselves,
Yeah.
you know, and there are those who will think can be a good thing, but who knows?
In tomorrow's podcast, Eddie, I would like to talk to you about quantum computers
Okay.
and what does the Vatican hold in its, like,
The
I've heard,
vaults.
yeah, Vatican vaults. I'm curious if you know anything about.
Yeah. I've heard the stories that there's, millions or billions of dollars in
Yeah,
treasure.
we'll discuss tomorrow because there's
Okay.
other these things. Like I watch some of these the William Shatner unexplained shows,
Oh, are you talking maybe some alien artifacts or
or
something?
not, or just things from all these years ago that we think exist. We don't have proof that they exist. That they say they may have at the
The
Vatican.
Ark of the Covenant.
Something like that.
Ah, the Holy
Something
Grail.
like that. Interesting
The
stuff.
original cross.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All these things
All
on
right.
tomorrow's post game
What a tease.
podcast. Oh, damn. And now the warm up show with CeeLo.
And yes.
You got to do another CeeLo.
Ready?
Yeah.
So